Welcome to the EntreprenHer Show. I am Heidi Richards Mooney, founder of Women in E-Commerce and host of the EntreprenHer Show. It is my pleasure to bring to you today's program. Today's guest is Chrissie Main, New Earth visionary, shamanic psychotherapist, and lead healer of Resort TBS. Let me tell you a little bit about Chrissie. A fireball of energy who brings with her the collected wisdom from her backgrounds as shamanic psychotherapy, the Andean tradition, empowered motherhood, as well as raw passion to heal. Owner of the Mana movement, Chrissie has been healing and empowering her clients for over 20 years. Chrissie leads retreats with fierce love and protection, all while pushing them to their goals. Among other things, today we're going to talk about her new TBS series, 10-episode ride called Lost Resort on TBS, which premiered last week on July 23rd, and from the producers of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. It's a unique reality offering escapist 3-week journey to Costa Rica, following 9 strangers who see this as their last resort to heal their unique life trauma issues. They're met with 5 healers that specialize in varied modalities of alternative healing, orgasmic dance, yes, it's a thing, rage rituals, shamanic therapies, and others. As I'm being told by producers and the expert healers themselves, this is the first time viewers can experience these wildly bizarre but highly effective practices that work to heal the soul, provide perspective, and so much more. Welcome, Chrissie.
Thank you, Heidi.
And Chrissie comes from down under, so we're very excited. Love the accent, and I'm just delighted to have this opportunity to meet you and to share you with our listeners and our viewing audience. So, Chrissie, what drives you to do what you do?
Oh, people, Heidi. People. What drives me is, in fact, the power within one human being. I just know it. I've known it since I was a little one. I sense it with everything I have, that one human, it has immense power to make positive change in the world. And so that's what drives me. When I see my brothers and sisters, humans, not doing well, sort of getting stuck in things, whether it's mental issues or physical things or emotional things, my heart goes out. Like, it really does. I feel like, oh, what a shame that this being isn't able to really experience themselves on full throttle. That's what I want. So yeah, I'm driven by an inherent knowing that human beings are just the most incredible things ever. Yeah, that's what drives me.
Oh, that's beautiful. And you know what? It sounds more like a calling than a career.
It is, my sister. It is. I'm totally cool. I have no choice.
You have no choice. Well, and we need people like you on the planet to help heal people like me who tend to be more left brain analytical and have a more difficult time getting inside of their own, get out of their own way and getting inside of their true purpose. And I feel very lucky because I found that long time ago. But I know before I did, I was just probably lost and not even realizing it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people walking around who feel that way.
Absolutely. I would say most people, unfortunately, most people are kind of, wandering around feeling quite lost in their lives. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you for what you do, because I'm sure you're helping a lot of people. I can see it. It's very evident. So with all you have going on, how do you juggle, say, for instance, single parenthood with such a productive, creative life?
It's such an amazing question. Single parenthood is not easy. It's such a challenge. It really is. I mean, parenthood, even with 2 present parents in the home is a challenge, but doing it on your own is really challenging. I get so many messages over the years, Heidi. I've had sort of hundreds and hundreds of letters and messages from women at home who have children who are feeling stuck at home and who know also they have this kind of drive. They have a purpose, and they may not know what it is yet, but they feel it, and they sort of come to me and say, how do you do it? How do you do motherhood and, rock your purpose? And what I try and encourage mamas to recognize is that they are two things. We are mothers, of course, primarily, and probably that's the priority when our children are small, but we are also women in the world. We are also women in the world, and that doesn't have to look like a big thing. I'm not talking like mass career, but each woman has a drive to contribute in some way. And I think that just even accepting that is a first step. I think a lot of mamas feel sort of stuck, with motherhood. But, if they can allow that they are two things, and that, that drive to contribute, to live a life of purpose, of whatever it is coming and is there. And we only need to sort of shepherd our babies through those first few years. And I also think, Heidi, it's really important that the children see that we also have something to do in the world. It's because that encourages them, the next generation, to live a life of purpose and not to suppress their dreams. I was taking my kids, Heidi, up the Andean mountains in Peru at the age of 1.5. Like, my little girl was 1.5 when she was climbing mountains with me, and she sees that in me now. It's like, right, mama's on a mission. Mama's super present at home. You're doing all the baking and all the yum things, but she's also got her role out in the world. And yeah, I'd love to empower a lot of women with that, because I think they can feel quite lost in those beginning stages of motherhood, not feeling like they have an identity anymore. Do you know what I mean?
So how do your children, how have they adapted, or how are they in relation to what you do outside of the home then?
Well, they've always been a part of it, and I think that that's really important. I've never sort of separated my roles. As I said, when I started visiting the Andes in Peru, they came with me. I took them straight away. We spent 4 months there. So they've been, in my workshops, on the sides of my workshops. They've been in my retreats in Peru, even last year, because they're sort of older now. They were 10 and 8 last year with my last retreat in Peru. They were assisting me. I'm initiating them in a way to assist me with the work. And so they understand it completely. Like, they're little masters themselves. They're little healers. They really do sense energy because I've shown them how. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's wonderful. I have 2 grown daughters, and I did the same thing when they were little. I dragged them to work. I dragged them to networking events, chamber meetings. I was president of my chamber. They went to everything I went to because I didn't want it to be a mystery. And I figured they wouldn't resent me if they knew what I was doing, because I was worried, as I was for a while a single mother as well. And I think you're so smart in bringing your children with you. I'm sure there may be instances when people cannot do that, but I think if you have the right career, or if you do the right things, you probably can for most jobs, wouldn't you say? Even if they sit on the sidelines and kind of just observe.
Absolutely. I think it's so important to involve the children. I think children get skeptical and wonder, why are mum or dad separating me from a part of their life, even their feelings. Like, I've always been big on sharing my innermost feelings with my children, not necessarily the story, it depends on their age, but to be transparent with the children is key. I can remember my parents are absolutely incredible, still in love. I really had the most incredible childhood with them. But they still did hide things from me, because that was just, their generation. That was how parents were, and that's how they operate, and still do in a lot of circumstances. And I can remember feeling all of it. I could feel when they weren't telling me how they were feeling. I could feel when they were sort of reserving conversations to themselves, and that created space, like almost what's going on? Why don't they trust me? Although they might not have been conscious thoughts, I did feel that. And so I have chosen to crack that, and not pass that down the lineage. And so me and my kids are so close. Like really, like we're best mates. I live with my two best mates. That's how it feels. You know?
Wonderful. And if that can continue into adulthood, as mine has, you will be very fortunate because children are a gift. Sometimes we don't always look at it that way, but they really truly are.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah. Wow. So that's really great, especially for parents listening who may be going through the same issues. It's good to know that if you can do it with your busy schedule, they too can do it. They just have to figure out how to do it that's best for them. So that's great. Thank you. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about how you feel about the current global changes, and are they positively affecting humanity?
Gosh, that's a big question. I think that there are levels of answers to that. I think when we look at the personal level, people are having all sorts of reactions. Some are feeling positive about where humanity's going, some are not. I think if we zoom right out to a bigger picture, of a global picture, and if we think of our development or our progression as a humanity in terms of eons, if we zoom right out, I think this is definitely a very positive time. And a lot of the indigenous wisdom cultures all around the world, Heidi, talk about this time. This is the reawakening. This is the time when we evolve more rapidly than we probably ever have as a species. And so I am excited. I know it's going to be bumpy. I feel it already is. This year especially is incredibly bumpy. And there may be more bumps to come, but I think if we just hang in there and keep loving each other and keep looking after our health and what's important to us, we'll ride through. And one of my masters in the Andes, Puma of Chinchero, an incredible elder over there, he says that at the end of this rocky period, we're going to see a version of planet Earth more beautiful than anything we could have ever imagined.
Right.
And so I feel this, I have my eye on the prize, I sort of think in big picture. But, having said that, it's also very confronting for a lot of people this time, with what we're seeing happening in the world.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of evidence what you say. I live in Florida, and just going to the beach and seeing the fish jumping out of the water that you didn't see before, and all of the birds flying around that you didn't see before, it feels like freedom. And you can see how free they feel in this time when there's not, so many people crowding the beaches and taking over what's really theirs. I read an interesting thing. I don't remember who quoted it, but the earth is not ours. We are the earth. And so the earth is for us to enjoy, but it really doesn't belong to any one human being. I think it was an Indian proverb. I'll have to find it and send it to you because I loved it. And I read it a couple of days ago and I meant to write it down, darn. But and it's so true. It really belongs to everybody, including the animals, and probably especially the animals. They were here first.
Absolutely. And I think that is one of the ways that humanity has gotten so off track,
Yeah.
and so upset with it. When we were talking earlier about fulfilled lives and purpose, our connection to nature is very much a part of that, although people don't realize that.
Right.
We are inherently a part of an ecosystem. Like you say, we shouldn't be dominating our environments. We are a part of, and the more we can come back into that. And that is a radical shift in worldview for most people who have been raised in the industrial growth society. It's a radical shift in view that, hold on, I'm not here to dominate nature, or nature's not here to serve me or please me on the weekends. No, we are a part of it, And yeah, so I think that's actually what we're coming back to, Heidi, like you've experienced in your life. We're coming back to recognizing that, which is excellent.
Oh, it's wonderful. And not having so much traffic on the road really is wonderful. I imagine the economy currently is suffering a lot. I'm very fortunate to work from home. My husband works for a company that's an environmental company, so he has a job where he's needed.
Mm.
And he's too works from home. So it's nice that we don't have to drive in all the traffic. Being in South Florida is like living in Southern California or Northern California. There's just so much traffic, any big city,
Mm.
but
Mm.
yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate your view on that. I hope more people will adopt that view and
Mm.
start realizing that, yeah, this is a short-term problem, but I think the long-term results will, better us as humans and as a planet. So
Mm.
I agree with you. Let's
Yes.
talk about Manifestrix, your
Yeah.
online 7-week course. What can
Mm.
people expect, and what is the intention of the journey?
Oh gosh. Well, in fact, it's just like a retreat, but online.
Oh,
Without the food and without the beds, without the tropical jungle or the Andes mountains. But it is my most exciting offering, Heidi. I've done a lot of amazing work, I feel, in the last 15 years, but this course is definitely the most powerful thing I've offered, and it is a chance. I mean, it's a journey. It's not a course. It's a journey where people can tune in from all around the world. We have live webinars that are recorded depending on your time zone, but the intention of the journey is to have people as safely and as swiftly as possible unhook from um, any sort of system that is limiting them, and to come back to full power, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, soulfully, and physically. We touch on the physical as well. Um, Again, like you asked me originally, what drives me? What drives me is people thriving, like really thriving. And what I and my ally that co-facilitates the course with me, what we see is that most people are fully unaware of what's limiting them. They think they might be aware. Oh, it's my ex, or my broken heart around this issue, or I have a difficulty with my liver, or people have an awareness of what the issue is, but a lot of the time the problem or the issue is still not solving, is still not shifting, and that's because there's more awareness. There's something they can't quite see. It's like Liz and I help sort of point out lovingly people's blind spots. And when you can see something that you haven't seen before behind your shoulder, wow, everything just shifts immediately. So the Manifestrix journey is an energetic spiritual journey, in that the winds, the shifts are right here, right now. It's not about writing. It's not intellectual. It's not remembering. It's literally like we offer sort of keys that we have gathered through life, Liz and I, and people feel it immediately, and it shifts and it unlocks them, and they expand and they free out. And I love it. I absolutely love this work. There's nothing I would rather do than help one person, expand, have one person have their, relationship with their mother or father restored. Like we are restoring love in people's lives. That's what we're doing. And it is humble work, but it is vital, and it is very, very powerful what happens when one person comes online. That's kind of how I see it. When someone really wakes up and comes online, the ripple effects are huge. So that's what it is.
And so, can you tell us maybe a couple of little things about the courses, like what are they going to go through? Maybe one or two of the examples.
Sure. So at the beginning of the course, we really get people into the driver's seat of their lives, because most people aren't even in control of their lives. They think they are, but they're not. They're letting life happen to them. So at the beginning, we really lay the foundations by looking at things like willingness, the metaphysics behind willingness, the metaphysics behind decision or indecision, because even these basic concepts people aren't using. They're not aware of how disempowering it is to be an indecision. So we start opening these areas up, and already by week 1, people are mind blown. Heidi, they're like, oh my God, now life completely changes just with some simple concepts to live it. And then we sort of start journeying deeper into the emotions, the emotional buildup that's accrued, guilt especially, that can accrue. We clear and clean all that. Then we start looking in the mind, what's happening in the mind, that negative limiting chatter that can happen. Oh, you can't do it. Oh, they don't like you. What if whatever it is, it's for each of us, but it's in there. And so we look at that and we disable that. We just disarm it, bang. And the person frees out. And then we look at, in the last week or 2, we look at the power of true collaboration. In the way we were talking about earlier, Heidi, like in an ecosystem, humans are supposed to be collaborative, and we've been raised in a society that has us competitive. And this is a result of a lot of our upset, actually, is that we're not feeling true support. We're not feeling truly acknowledged. We're not jamming the way we'd like to with other people. So it's a very deep journey, I have to say. It's 7 weeks. It's an absolute game changer. And everybody is warmly welcomed. We'd love to meet everybody.
So if someone was listening and they wanted to learn more about the course, where would they go?
Well, they can call me. I can call them and we can chat on the phone. Otherwise, they can go to the website, which is Manifestrix.com, and just drop an email. But yeah, Liz and I are entirely available to talk to people on the phone about the course to see if it's a match. It may not be, but people know immediately when they talk to us, yes, this is for me,
Excellent. Well, at the end, we'll get some more contact information and definitely be able to share that with our audience. So tell us a little bit about Last Resort, how that project came to be, and what are you most excited for the audiences to learn from the series?
Well, Last Resort, it is, I feel, a groundbreaker in the world of television. Not that I watch television, but there's a reason I don't watch it. And when this opportunity came across my path, I thought, oh my gosh, yes, the world is actually ready for this. It is the time for natural, positive healing stories to reach the mainstream, because like we said, Heidi, people aren't doing well, and that's through no fault of their own, but to have a docu-series, a reality series, whatever you want to call it, a journey over 10 weeks with 9 beautiful human beings who have, are at the end of their tethers, who need help, who don't know where to turn, for them to come to a retreat and engage in very unusual processes, processes that are, normal for our Indigenous cultures, or for our alternative communities around the world, or even for our spiritual communities, Buddhists, whatever. There are processes there that we've all been practicing for a very long time, and that have been helping us heal, but the mainstream have not seen this yet. And so it really is a series that I believe will bring a lot of hope and a lot of entertaining. Like, it's hilarious. The first episode, I was laughing so much. I thought it was really funny. So it's a perfect combination of humor and drama, and it's very touching drama. It's not superficial drama. It's really the deep life stories of these humans on the table. So, I know that humans just love to watch other people do well, to win, to get something, to heal. And so I think people are really going to love the journey.
And I was really excited about looking at some of the people involved and the age range from the early 20s to mid 50s. I think that's wonderful that you're not just featuring, maybe for me, older women or older men, or just younger people. Like on some of the shows, they're all young, like Survival, even though I don't know what the show is. I don't watch any of them. A reality show has never been something I've been attracted to, but I'm definitely going to watch yours. I didn't see last week because I was out of town, but I'm definitely going to start watching it. Will there be opportunities to watch the shows we've missed? Will they have
Yes.
a website? Okay, good.
Yes, I mean, I only know about the one opportunity, which is YouTube. So YouTube is showing the first episode, and I'm not actually sure if people will be able to watch every episode there. I'll find out for you.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
And otherwise, they can tune into TBS to watch the show, correct?
Yes, that's right. Ideally, when it's happening, TBS
Exactly.
10 p.m.
10
on
p.m. 10
Thursdays.
p.m.
Thursdays.
10 p.m. Eastern
ET,
time. ET.
ET,
Eastern
and
time.
PST, I think. Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, we'll make sure we get that information to the audience as well. So let's talk about, what is one thing you would like to do that you have not yet done, Chrissie?
Oh my God, get married.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, that's it. Not
Anybody in mind?
no, not marriage itself. It's not the ceremony, but just to have, to have that bond with that beautiful man that we know we want to journey for the rest of our lives together. I'm looking forward to feeling that.
That's wonderful. I'm married to my last husband, which I say my last because he is it. He's the one.
Yeah.
But I had to go through someone else to find the one. And so I think it's wonderful when you can and you find that life partner that you really know that's the person you're going to spend eternity with. So, well, I wish you a lot of luck in that journey because it will happen,
Oh, thank you, Heidi. You're very lucky. I want to congratulate you and your beautiful husband on finding each other and the blessings that must bring to both of you. You're very lucky.
We are 30 years. It'll be 30 years. No, it'll be 29 years in August. And then, so yeah, we've been together a long time and just very, very lucky. Yeah. Any last thoughts? Anything else you'd like to share?
Oh, just that, the show is amazing. And I think that the show can really also do with powerful people like yourself, Heidi, joining what I see as like a prayer circle. I have all these people, friends of mine, who are very powerful in their hearts, who have a really big vision for humanity. And they're watching the show and they're believing in it and they're kind of backing it. And, so I'd invite anyone who also thinks that it's time for humanity and the world to heal, and naturally at that to join us in this journey, because the more of us that join this journey, the more energy it has and the more it will reach others. So it's an invitation. I'd love you to join us in the journey.
Oh, definitely. And I think you're absolutely right. The prayer circles are very powerful. I've seen the miracles that have happened from them, and it's truly is awe-inspiring. And with what's going on in the world today, it is so needed. So thank you, Chrissie. Thank you for being part of this show. Thank you for sharing a small part of the Lost Resort. I'm sorry we're not going to have more time, but I cannot wait to watch the show and follow you on the journey, as well as all of the other people in it. So thank you.
Oh.
What is the best way for our listeners to get into touch or contact with you?
Through my website, which is the Mana Movement, Mana as in spirit, MANA, the manamovement.org. So that's, it's actually just being built, but there's a landing page there that people can email me through. They can reach the Manifestrix course through that landing page. Otherwise, I'm pretty active on Instagram, and my handle there is Badass Mamita.
I love it. That's great. I never expected that. So that's great. I'll definitely find you on Instagram because I love it's become my new favorite social media channel, and I've been on all of them. Not all of them, but most of them. Thank you so much for being with us today, Chrissie. Thank you very much for sharing about your new show and your 7-week journey and all of the things that I think our listeners are really yearning for. So thank you. And I want to thank, you're welcome. And I want to thank our listeners for listening to the EntreprenHer Show, where we bring you exciting interviews with women who are making a difference while making a living. Be sure and share this episode with your friends. Thank you and have a great day. Oh no, I don't want to end the meeting. Hold on. What did I do? I just messed up.